Alright, so next thing I want to go over is just the basic neyze zadan, to strike the head with the spear. Now orientation is very important depending on the angle that you're cutting with. You're going to have to turn the neyze much more than like shamshir or other weapons because of the nature of this. So if I'm coming down, right, I don't necessarily want, it's not optimal to hit with the top or the flat of the spear depending on what my intention is. Now if I'm swatting their arms out of the way and then thrusting, that's fine, but if my goal is to cut the head, to cut the shoulder and the neck area coming down vertically, you want to orientate yourself. So having a rounded grip is going to make it a little bit more difficult to align your spear properly. So if you can get a hexed grip, like a six-sided one, you can really, with your fingers and thumbs, really get the angles much easier to cut efficiently with your neyze. But that's aside the point. Not everyone's going to have a hexed spear, myself included. A hexed spear shaft, where it's six-sided instead of round. Alright, so first thing is I'm in my ready stance, traditional spear grip, and I can just simply bring the spear up, right, down, right, bring my hands together, right, I can step into it, so I can threaten with the spear, coming back down, switching hands. Right? One more time, threaten with the spear. Here. So a lot of times mid-swing, you'll change your hands with this as well, if you saw what I just did. So I'm threatening, coming down. So that's why it's very important to practice swapping your hands quite often with the neyze when you're swinging it. Now when you're thrusting with it, right? Not so much. But when you're swinging with it, depending on the direction you're swinging from, you're going to switch your hands mid-swing sometimes. Alright, so you can, alright, come from the top, or if you want to be unorthodox when they're coming towards you, you can step back, your hand meets the edge of the spear, right? And you could strike with the staff, with the shaft, boom, and then coming back through. Now that's where hand placement's important, and you're gonna have to strategize your hands much more with this. So if I'm wanting to come back and strike here effectively, right? I'm gonna have to switch this hand because my thumb is facing you. Like I can't swing like that, right? So that's when, if I'm here and I'm wanting to come back and swing with the shaft of my spear, even if it's not coming top from the side or an angle, that's when I'm going to switch my hand. When they're coming, I can come up top, I can come horizontal, or I can come from the 45 angle, right? So that's why you have to really strategize your hands and how they're placed depending on what you're going to do. So again, you can just come here, right? Here, I keep my hands still. Keep my hands still, boom. See where my hands are? Switching, right? I could step to my left here, right? Or I could step to my left here. Or the further down, the more heft of the swing, but you're also going to have less control of the end because all the weight's going to be towards the end. So it's all and your balance. So one more time, just static. Stepping to the right, then I switch, right? Stepping to the left, or stepping to the left, here, and back. Now, when I'm sliding my hands up and down it, I like to keep my rear hand kind of set because of the balance of it. If I start bringing my hand back and this is coming down, look, I like, that's, it's not heavy, but that's hard to control, right? So wherever my rear hand is, I kind of keep it there. So when I'm doing that one where I'm stepping and I'm coming here, boom, that way I can control it. Bring it here. Hopefully you're not wearing suspenders for your spear to get stuck in. All right, so, and then, oh yeah, stepping back. Right, one more time. I struck my hip when I did that. Coming here. Right, or if I'm sliding my hand into the swing. Boom. A lot of times you're loading the neyze into your armpit and then readjusting too. And that'll help if you're over swinging to help you control it, because then you can get back control of your neyze. So that's just different ways you can do varmafzar. I'll do one last one. So stepping back without switching my feet, pressing with my front leg back here, right here. Obviously a lot quicker. Boom. Right, you're not going to get as much heft swinging back, right? When you're coming back to, you can threaten with the cut upwards, then back, threatening again, right? Or I can switch my legs, right? So being able to properly maneuver this requires much more training than one would think when you're trying to swing it. Now thrusting doesn't take much. When you're in formation, you're not always gonna swing it around, especially side to side, maybe up and down a little bit. Your swings in formation are gonna be much shorter, right? Very rarely do you want to start off an engagement with a big movement, because then they can just come in and attack you. So just keep that in mind. So I know some techniques I show maybe seem big, but also there's a place for it. So I'm not always going to start and come in here, right? So it could be they're coming in, I deflect, boom, right? Deflect, boom, right? So we'll get into all the parrying and all that. You could thrust at their attack to parry, boom, then come back, right? So there's a lot you can do. And I'm just showing very basic stuff, and we're gonna keep going over and over it. All right, thank you.